Hey, welcome back to my back patio and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana, and on this channel I do seasonal living videos, sometimes with a witchy twist. And right now I am focusing on updating my patio to have a Victorian inspiration. And so my last video was kind of cleaning and rearranging the patio, starting to update my patio furniture. And one of the big things that I wanted to do to update my patio and to give it a more Victorian flair is to add a lot of plants. And I have a shady patio, so all my plants have to be shade tolerant or at least partial shade and enjoy some dappled afternoon sun. So it is 4:30 and we're getting dappled sun right now, which is really great. So I have a few different zones to work on. I need to plant up some of this stuff over here. I need to rescue my very overgrown aloe, very root bound, and try to save some of the pups that are growing off of the main plant. Probably not going to be able to salvage the main plant, but I need to at least do something with it because it's an eyesore at this point. And on the in my little vase I have over there, I have some jasmine bare root plants that I got from Etsy. They just arrived like literally an hour ago. I was waiting, I was like checking my email like all day waiting for them to come because I didn't want them to sit in the box any longer than they possibly had to. So while I get everything ready, I have them soaking in water to kind of rehydrate the roots a little bit. And then I have a planter I need to move from the back of the yard to the patio to add some more shade plants in front of my window so that when I look out my kitchen window, I can see the shade plants, and it's a nice little feature on the patio that we can arrange some seating around. So in this video, I want to rescue my aloe, pot up the jasmine, probably pot up this hosta that's over here, and move the planter. So a lot of stuff to do, but the weather is gorgeous, and I don't think everything's going to take that long. It's just doing all the little steps. So let's get started. And look at this. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that I used to have a little river that ran across the patio from the AC draining, and it is gone. So I'm super proud of my little project right there where I got some more pipe and made the AC drain off the side of the house. So no more river. I'm super proud of myself. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to use this tarp as my base to do my plants so that I can keep the dirt contained. And I'm going to replace the tarp on the smoker with a darker color that's not so loud. Before I do this, I want to say that these aloe plants were my entry into plants. Before that, I considered myself a black thumb, brown thumb, I don't know what the correct term is, but somebody who just couldn't keep plants alive. And I got these two aloe plants at the beginning of 2020 to go at my desk at work because I had just moved to a desk that had a big window. And it was that time of the year when, at least for me, I crave like greenery and life because it's winter and blah. So I had literally just gotten these two plants and like maybe a month before everything shut down for COVID. And I left them at work because I thought it's only temporary. They'll be fine. And I would still go to the office like every now and then if I really needed to. And someone at work was watering it, enough of them. But then eventually, after like 6 months, I brought them home because it obviously wasn't temporary. And they stayed at my house then for the rest of the time. And I learned how to take care of them and not because I'm an overwaterer. That was my thing. And I put them in front of my back patio door because it was like a west facing. It was like the most sun in the house. And they just thrived and they got too big for that space. So I put them in these grow bags and put them on my back deck on like the north facing side. And they got huge. Like you can see how big some of these fronds are. And then the first, like I want to say 2023 fall, I had to repot it because both of them, because they had so many babies, like so many pups popping up. And I think I got 20 babies combined off of the 2 plants, so 10 each out of after a year. And then in my last video, I mentioned how in fall of 2024, I should have done that again, but we moved in the fall and it was the busiest time for my job, so I didn't do it. And then I had them in the house for that winter, and then I had them outside on the patio last year, and I think I just didn't water them enough, so that's why they got all floppy. They have gotten attacked by some pests because, like, you can see there's like puncture marks where there's bugs that will like puncture it and like drink the sap apparently. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to save the mother plants, even though they got some firm fronds up here that are new. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. And um, but I want to express my gratitude and appreciation for these plants for being my entry and gateway into learning how to take care of plants, learning to learn what they want and what they need, because that's all it is for taking care of plants, is learning what they need and giving it to them. You just get a lot of plants because then they're like pets and you have to take care of them and give them what they need and nurture them, and it just fills my heart with joy. So that's my little aside about um, these plants and why I'm trying to save them, because they mean a lot to me. And I'm also stalling because I'm scared. I'm scared to do this. But here we go. Like, here's a baby right here. It's like not even attached to the mother anymore. So there's one. It's kind of twisted, but all these are just breaking right off. This is easy. Okay, this has been way. Okay, there's another one. I couldn't save the mother plants. I tried. I really tried. I fought with it. I just couldn't get them to sit upright, and the fronds kept breaking. I tried to build supports to keep them from breaking. I couldn't do it, and it makes me really sad. So I had to get rid of them. But I have all these babies now to deal with. I have these 3 pots. I was going to put at least one each, maybe two, and then I also want to put at least one in that little urn style pot. I think it'd be cute coming out of there. So those are things that I can handle, that I will not have a breakdown over trying to save the plants. Oh, it makes me so sad. Okay. We're gonna breathe. We're gonna breathe. It's gonna be okay. Okay, it's getting late. The only other thing I have to do today is potting up this jasmine. It came in the mail today. It's been sitting in water for the last hour and a half or so since I started this project. So I need to get that potted up in some form or fashion so that they won't die. So let's go look at the jasmine. So I got this on Etsy from a seller that sells star jasmine, which is not a true jasmine. It's not exactly in the same family, but it's just called star jasmine. But it likes to grow in like dappled sun, which I guess it can thrive in either full sun or dappled sun. And I have dappled sun here on my patio. In the winter, it gets full sun in the afternoon, so I think that'll actually be good for it, because if it freezes, if the roots freeze solid, then it will die. And it's more likely to do that in pots, which is what I'm going to use. So I think the full sun in the winter will be good to keep the roots more alive. I just hope it gets enough sun back here, like in the afternoons, to make it flower really well. But it is evergreen, so as the vines grow, then it will cover the side of the house with green, give it that Victorian look that I'm going for. And it will stay green even in the winter, is what it's supposed to do. I think I have seen people say that it sometimes they die back and then they come back, but I'm hoping that it stays green and like the vines stay alive so that in the spring it could keep growing versus having to start over from scratch. I have moonflower in the front of the house, and I loved how that looked last year with the vines growing up the trellis in front of the window. So when we opened the curtains, we saw the vines, and it was so gorgeous. But that dies back; it's not a perennial. So hoping for something fully green, and I have 12 plants here. Did I need 12 plants? No, but on Etsy it was the best value. So there was a wide range of prices for Star Jasmine on Etsy, and so there were sellers that seemingly had it very cheap for the plants themselves, but then the shipping was as much as the plants themselves. So like I feel like that's a little misleading. Whereas this seller had the plants price what I thought was a really good price, and then the shipping wasn't that much more. And I'm pretty sure it shipped all the way from California. So I have 12. So I wanted to do 3 pots here because I have 3 trellises. I'm starting to wonder if I should add more and have 4, 5 plants here. And I've also been thinking about adding some of the plants up front because I have the part of the garage that sticks out from the house is like technically a south facing side. So it gets the most sun of the front patio area, and I did have a moonflower there last year, and it did okay. But I'm thinking about adding a couple of the star jasmine there too to grow up the side. I would need to get a new trellis, um, and I'm trying to decide between in ground up front or pot. So it's going to be pots back here because it's concrete. But up front, I have the option to plant it in the ground, but I'd have to dig into the clay again. And then I also, because I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put 12 plants. We have this little shed over here that doesn't really have anything in it. Nick just rolls around and leaves in there. And it's ugly. So I also thought about planting some over there to try to like climb up and hide that little shed. So 12 plants. And the other thing I considered, because I mean, it's 12 plants, but are all 12 of them like guaranteed to survive? I don't know. So I was thinking about putting 2 per pot as like insurance. And then if they start to get out of control, just like trim them back or pull one out. So if I do, that's 6. If I do 2 in each pot here, times 3 pots. And if I do 2 up front, that's 8. Then I have 4 more that I still have to figure out what to do with. And I don't have to decide today, like where I'm going to put everything. I'm just like talking out loud of like all the things I've considered, knowing that I had 12 plants coming. But for now, I need to get these 3 planted for sure. And then put the other ones in some kind of dirt somewhere to wait until I decide what else to do with them. So, and it's getting really late. I need to start dinner soon. It's the next day, and I now need to move this planter over to the patio to fill it up and add some more shade plants. And in order to do that, I need to take some of the dirt out so that I can actually move it. It's too heavy to move right now. And then I need to fill it up with some more compost. I thought I had enough compost, but I don't think I actually do. So I might have to go to the hardware store to get more, but we'll see. She's going to take it step by step and pull my tarp over here, take out some of this dirt so I can drag everything over to the patio. I'm trying to decide if I should add some more compost. Which adding more compost means a trip to Home Depot, which means a chance to find more plants. So I think I'm going to go get another bag and see what other plants I can find while I'm there. Some other shade plants. All right, let's go to Home Depot. I already have something. It's very pretty. So at my local Home Depot, all the shade plants are kind of off to the side in one area, kept shaded, and these are the Brunner I saw the other day. So I gotta find a pretty one. These are really pretty and interesting looking, but they're 20 bucks. I don't know if I want to pay that for a plant, but they do have nice pots, like they're not in nursery pots. That one, I don't know, I really like that one. That would add some color. Found another autumn fern, which this is what I planted in my front yard, and it's doing really well. So do I want to get another one? I've looked around for some urn type planters, like Victorian style, and I don't really see a whole lot. But there's an estate sale I'm going to go to later this week that has some promising options. But I came here for compost, and I think I should go do that now. All right, it's been a couple days. I think the last I filmed, I was at Home Depot I went for compost, left with compost and a few plants. So let me show you what I got, and then move on to finishing that planter, which I did go ahead and put the compost in it and refresh the soil a little bit so we can add the plants, and I'll show what I have here. And they look a little sad because they need to be watered, which I'm going to do that once I finish everything. So I did get the autumn fern. I bought a couple of these to put in my front yard, and they're doing really well. They're like probably doing the best of everything I planted a few weeks ago. So definitely needs to be watered, but I love the laciness of it. I'm obsessed with ferns at this point. And then I got my Brunnera, which was one of the main ones that I wanted to get. If I was going to get any plants that day, it was going to be this one, because I just love the texture of these leaves. They just have like the deep veins with the light popping. They just add so much depth. And now I'm on the hunt for a pot, which I did go to an estate sale today. Actually, I went to two. One of them was only accepting Zelle as payment, which I don't have. And I might go back to that one tomorrow with cash. Well, they accept Zelle and cash. I didn't have cash either. So I might go back tomorrow to see if they still have some of the bigger pots, because they had one that was like a pedestal, like an urn style, which is what I kind of envisioned this one being in. So I may do that tomorrow, depending on, I have a lot of other stuff I want to do tomorrow too. But got that. And then I did get the caladium. I know I kind of balked at the price. It was 20 bucks. but it is a very large plant and it's in a nice pot. It's not in a nursery pot. So I don't have to find a new pot for it. I felt like value wise, it was good. But I just could not say no to these leaves. Like, look at them. They remind me of like Alocasia, Calocasia with those like heart shaped leaves. And of all of them, this is the one that had the most of these like dark green and red. And then it does have a splash of white on this side. I also need to water this one. All of these, all three like shade, but also like to be moist. So I need to water these for sure tonight. And then in terms of what's going to go in my giant planter over there, this is a mixture of plants I've bought and then ones I started from seed way, way back in like February. So I have a couple mint, which they've been in my front yard in the dappled shade and they've been growing already, but they have a nice strong smell. This is Lobelia, which I've never grown before, but bugs everywhere. But I love these blue flowers and the texture of the leaves and the plants. And it says it said part sun, 3 to 6 hours on the label. So I thought this would be a good shade plant. And then I have one Coleus that I started, which it's a bunch of Coleus in one pot, which I'll need to separate them. And then there's one begonia that never sprouted before. And I kind of given up on it and thought that it just wasn't going to sprout, but it's starting to sprout. So I'll give that one a shot. Then I have several. Oh, I also have cilantro. I have 2 cilantro, which I mentioned is wanting to grow in this back patio area and it's shaded. And I have hope because it's been warm. And I mean, not hot, but it's been warm and it's been in the shade up front and it has not bolted yet. So I have hope that it may stay edible and smelling good. So I like cilantro in food. I know there's like a genetic thing where some people think it tastes like soap and like they don't like it in food. And I like it in food and I want to make salsa this year with my tomatoes, onions, and garlic. So I like cilantro in food, but I don't like how it smells when it bolts. I think it smells like stink bugs. And the last time I tried to grow it was 2 years ago, and it bolted as soon as any kind of heat set in. And I had it on my back patio, which got like afternoon sun at the time, and it smelled so bad. So I'm hoping that it stays good. And I also need to figure out how to keep it from getting so leggy because it's very like floppy right now. So I'm hoping if I like trim it a little bit, then it will like maybe bush out a little bit. And then lastly, I have several daisies, English daisies and foxgloves, which I planted in hopes of planting up front because I had like this vision of a cottage garden with like flowers everywhere. And foxgloves and daisies are better planted in the fall for that purpose. So you plant them in the fall, they get winter stratified, and then they are more likely to bloom that spring. But if you plant them in the spring, they're not likely to bloom that same year. And they've been growing very slowly. It took them forever to even sprout, which now I'm trying to remember. Like, this is a foxglove, so that must be a foxglove. Okay. So I'm gonna put them in the planter. If they don't sprout or if they don't flower this year, then that's fine. But I at least want to put it, because if I put them in now and they come back next year, then they should flower next year. So I need to kind of design the bed with that in mind because foxgloves get tall. It was going to be like the back of the bed, and then the daisies were going to be in the front. So I need to keep that height in mind, knowing how the sun goes over the house. So let's get these in the planter, and then I will water everything. Oh, I'll show the pots that I got at the estate sale. The one that was actually successful. So at the estate sale, that one didn't have any really big planters. And I got this one because I liked the shape of it. It has like kind of a rounded shape. And I was hoping this was going to be big enough for the Brunnera, but I'm not so sure now. It definitely needs to be cleaned because it has like barnacles basically growing on it. Um, but the Brunnera is already like as tall as this, and it has more width to grow. But I'm trying to decide if I want it in this or if I want to like hold out for an urn shaped planter. And then I could also do the fern in this one, which I think this might be what I put the fern in, but I definitely need to clean it because I like the rusticness, but it's a little too rustic. It's a little dirty. But I think this one will fit. It'll be good room to grow for this, and I think the foliage looks nice in this pot. And then I got this just like a tray for a pot so that I can put something um, like put another pot in it as a cover, like not a cover pot, but a tray under the pot. And I got this one as a shallow pot because I also am going to grow some ginger back here. I have ginger growing in my community garden plots. It did really well, and I had a couple extra pieces I didn't have room for, so I thought I'd throw it in a container back here because it'll grow in the shade, and then it'll add some more texture and height and just like a different kind of plant back here. So get that done. Oh, and then when I went to Home Depot, they were giving away flower bulbs. And I don't want to say which Home Depot because I feel like they were probably supposed to throw them away unless a corporation decided to do something nice and give away stuff. But as I was checking out, they were telling people that they could take 5 bags of flower bulbs. So I got a few. I got 5. I got a couple dahlias, crazy love, and Arabian Night. And I planted these at my one of my community gardens because I have other dahlias growing there. So I stuck those in the ground, and then I have Forever Susan lily, another vibrant one, and this one I also planted at the community garden. It had, well, I did 2 bulbs there. Did I do all 4? I think I did all 4 there. And then I got Crocosmia and Rain Lily. And I didn't plant these at the community garden because I thought I might plant these here in the yard, like in the front and back, and like my little sectioned off areas. And they may not bloom this year. And hopefully it gets enough sun because they say like part sun, but that can be 3 hours of sun, it could be 6 hours of sun. But the foliage would look nice either way. It would add some more variation to the landscape. So I'll get these in the ground too. I didn't say this in the earlier, but this is actually a passion flower from a fruit that somebody gave me from their vine. I want to grow it so bad, and it's like going little by little, but I think I'm going to put this in a different pot that's on its own so it eventually could be trellised. I'm aware that foxglove is poisonous, so I didn't put any of the food things in the same square as the foxglove.